Hello everybody, today we're going to take a look at these HPM plug tops here, okay? Now all of these are essentially the same thing, the difference is just the amperage, okay? They're all different amperages, okay? And I'm going to show you what that is. Okay, so all six, we got six here, all in different amperages, okay? And well, two of them are the same amperage, just different size, but they are made by HPM, which is this company right here, if you can see on the back of this, HPM. Okay, let's try this one. There we go. So they're made by HPM. HPM make electrical stuff in Australia, okay, New Zealand probably, and these are all of their plug tops. This is the complete range of their plug tops that you can get. Okay, so the part number for these is CAT 106. Okay, then it might have a / with a number. Okay, so depending on which one you get. Okay, so we have 10 amp, we've got 15, we've got 20, 25 and 32. Okay, all the same, just different, just the pins look different. Okay, so this first one here, this is your standard 10 amp one. This one's very common, you'll see this everywhere. So that's your standard 10 amp one. Okay, part number for this one is the 106/1. Okay, so this is what this one, you can see it. All the pins on these are actually made of stainless steel. Okay, and these plugs, they plug into a power point, which looks like this. Okay, so that would simply just, plug in there and then you can run your appliance. Okay, so pretty simple. Okay, so that's the 10 amp one. Okay, now the next one I have is another 10 amp one, except this one is just a wee bit bigger. Okay, slightly different shape, and slightly different look. Okay, the difference is that this one's bigger to take a little bit of a thicker cord. Okay, so if you have a thick cord, you'd run that through there. You'd need this plug, but most plug cords in 10 amp are usually this size. Okay, so that's the next one up. That one is CAT 106/2. So that's a 10 amp as well. It's designed for a bigger cord. The next one up is 15 amp. Okay, which this one is. As you can see, the difference on this one and this one is the earth pin. If you can see right there, you can see the earth pin is bigger. I'll pop it here. Oops, sorry. I'll pop this on top of that. You can see the difference. The earth pin's a lot bigger. Okay, so that's a 15 amp. Okay, now the reason the earth pin is bigger on this one is because the appliance is just a wee bit more powerful. Okay, and they don't want you accidentally plugging this into the wrong power point. So 15 amp power points are the same, except they have a bigger slot, and there's no way that this is going to plug in. As you can see, I can't plug that in there. Okay, it's not the right amperage, and if I were to plug this in, I'd most likely overload it. So that's the 15. Part number for that is CAT 106/3. Okay, so that's the next one up. Next one up from that is the 20 amp, which this one is exactly the same, except the difference now is that all three pins are bigger. As you can see, all three of the pins are larger, are the same size as the earth pin on this one, as you can see, but except this one, the live and neutral are bigger. Okay, so this plug here will not fit into a 15 amp power point and will not plug into a 10 amp. Okay, I can't plug that in there. The pins are too big, so it's not going to fit. Okay, so part number for this is 106/4. Okay, so that's your 20 amp one. Okay, and the 20 amp cords are a lot thicker. As you can see, the hole is a lot bigger. It's a lot bigger than the 15 amp one. Okay, it's a lot bigger than the 10 amp one. Okay, so that's the 15 amp, and that's the 20 amp. Okay, so that's the next one up. All right, so that's your 20 amp one. Okay, it's a lot bigger. Okay, and a lot more powerful. Okay, next one up is the 25 amp. Okay, it is exactly the same. The difference is that the earth pin is like an L shape. Okay, you got an L-shaped earth pin. Okay, so the earth pin is like an L shape. Okay, and this plug will not plug into a 20 amp power point because the earth pin is an L shape. Okay, on this one, the earth pin is completely flat. It's like an I shape. Now, this one's an L. So this one will not work in a 20 amp. Okay, and definitely will not plug into a 10 amp, as you can see. So there you go. So that's the next one up, and part number CAT 106/5. Okay, and of course, last but not least, we have the 32 amp. This is the highest one-phase plug that you can get. Okay, and this one has a C-shaped earth pin, as you can see. So this plug will not fit into a 25 amp power point. Okay, and you can't use it in a 10 amp. Definitely not a 10 amp. Okay, it's just not going to go in. Okay, so therefore, it's impossible to plug this in. If I were to plug that into a 10 amp, I would very likely blow up the breaker, because a 32 amp appliance is very powerful. Okay, so that's why they make these bigger, so you don't accidentally plug them into the wrong power point. Okay, now the power point for the 32 amp plug, you can use any of these in the 32 amp. Okay, because if you can use this higher ampage one, you can use these other ones in. It's just that they're lower power, and you can use the lower power plugs in any power point, of course, in any 32 amp power point. Okay, the 10 amp ones that I have here, you can use them in basically every power point. You can use them in the 10, 15, 20, 25, and 32. Okay, it's just that they're lower. That's just the difference. Just so it's less power. Okay, and it's just that the breaker for the 32 amp power points is stronger, and it will handle the power. It's okay to run lower power appliances in them. Okay, you just can't go the other way. You can't use higher ampage appliances in low amp power points. Okay, so this 10 amp one is just for the 10 amp. Okay, so you can't use, okay, you can use that one in, but you can't use any of these four. Okay, because they're not going to fit. Okay, and also they're way too powerful. Okay, so that's why they do that, so you don't accidentally plug it into the wrong power point. Okay, now the 32 amp power point is the same, except the pins are bigger and it's got the C-shaped slot. Okay, with that, I can use any of these. Okay, I just can't go the other way. Okay, you can't use a 20 amp in a 10. Okay, because if you were, you'd likely blow up the breaker. Okay, because the breaker isn't designed to handle it. Okay, that's why with different amperages they make the pins different on these, so you don't accidentally plug it into the wrong power point. You can also get the double power point in a 15 amp as well. Okay, I've never seen it in a 20 amp or in a higher amperage, so I think double you can only get in 10 and 15. Okay, as where the single you can go in any amperage. Okay, there are other ones out there, like you got ones with round earth pins. Okay, which is 10 amp as well. Okay, they're slightly different, but you can use them in 10 amp. You just need an adapter. Okay, or the rounded earth pin power point. Okay, so there's your plugs right there. Okay, as you can see, I'll hold these two side by side. See, that's the difference there. So this is the 32 on the left and the 25 on the right. You can see the difference in the earth pin there. Okay, one's an L, one's a C, if you can see that. The live and neutral pins are exactly the same. And here we have the 20 amp plug, which is, once again, it's the same, except it's got a flat earth. There's no C, no L. Okay, so that's the difference there in those. And then, of course, you've got your 10 amp, which this one is. You see it's your standard one. And your 15 amp, which is the next one on. You can see the earth pin is a lot bigger. And, of course, there's your 20 amp one. All three pins are bigger, if you can see. Hold those side by side, you can see the difference in the pins. Okay, so yeah, so that's basically all there is. So that's basically all the Australian plug one-phase plug heads. I'm not too sure of any others other than the rounded earth pin, which I don't have. Okay, but these are all pretty good collector's items. Okay, you can get these. Well, these three here you can find at Bunnings. Bunnings sell these three, but these three here you can only get at your electrical wholesalers. You can't find them at Bunnings. Okay, apparently Bunnings don't sell these. Okay, they only sell these three. Electrical wholesalers will sell all six, but Bunnings will only sell the three. Okay, so depending on the appliance, depends on which plug you need. If you have a broken plug on a 20 amp one, you have to replace it with the same plug. You can't put this on there. Okay, you must replace it with the same one. Okay, and also you wouldn't be able to put that on there anyway because the cord will be too thick. Okay, because the cord is a lot thicker on a 20 amp. Okay, and the breakers for these are more heavier duty, so the breakers are designed to withstand the extra power. So Okay, there is also three-phase power points, and they have different amperages as well. Okay, so the three-phase ones usually have a track on the bottom of the plug that's different depending on which one you have. And like I said, with a 32 amp power point, you can use any of these in it. Okay, you just can't go the other way. You can't use anything other than the 10 amp in this. Okay, that's just the rule of thumb. Okay, and very likely you're not going to blow your breaker. Okay, you're very likely not likely to cause a fire or anything like that. Okay, so that is the HPM plug tops. So they're all the exact same thing. Okay, I'll take a look on this side. Okay, that's that one there. Okay, and I'll just show you this one here. You can see the 20 amp one is a lot bigger than that. As you can see the size there. Okay. Okay, so essentially these three here are the exact same shape. The difference is just the earth pin on them. Okay, these two here are the same shape. Difference is just the earth pin, and that one there is a slightly different shape. Okay, so so for a 10 amp one with a standard sized lead, you'd use this one. If it's got a thicker lead, to some 10 amp appliances do, you need to use this one. If you got a 15 amp, you'd use this one. 20 amp this one, 25 this one, and 32 this one. Okay, so so that's just a little educational video for all you people who are willing to who are apprentices. If you want to be an electrician or someone who wants to collect plugs and you want to know the different amperages. Okay, this is all the different amperages we have here in Australia, and I think it's the same for New Zealand as well, since New Zealand uses the same plugs. But yeah, so these are all made by HPM, like I've said, and they are all, and the part number for these is CAT 106 with a /1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed, and that'll be it.